Hey guys, Pansy here and welcome to my BDO grind spot guide. Have you ever sat there thinking, man, I want to make some money and grind, but I don't know if this is the right spot for me to be at? Where should I be grinding at my gear score? Can someone just give me some recommendations? Well, that's what I'm going to answer for you in this video. I made a video back in May, but it's already been outdated thanks to all the great updates that have come through over the past several months. So in this video, I'm going to go over where you should be grinding at, your AP bracket. DP is a bit harder for me to recommend, but I'll do my best. This could fluctuate plus or minus depending on your class and your skill level. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find this video helpful. Check me out at twitch.tv/ImPansy, where I'll stream between Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern every day. We have to go full time, unfortunately, due to circumstances, but I'm going to do my best to give you guys great content. I hope to see you guys in my Twitch chat. And if you want to support me, the best way to do so is to share my videos with your friends and on Discord. Alright, let's kick things off with this BDO grind spot guide. The first part is going to be for early game. That's right, this is for the beginner players, the Tuvala Timmies, and the seasonal characters. The first spot I'd like to recommend is at 140 AP. The reason why we're starting at 140 AP is because that is a good baseline, as progressing a new character is going to get you to 140 AP pretty easily by upgrading your Naru gear to Pen, which automatically convert to Pride Tuvala gear, and upgrading your weapons to Duo and using base Tuvala accessories. That is enough to get 140 AP. So the first spot I'd like to recommend is at 140 AP. That is the Gahaz Bandits. This spot recently got buffed and it is a very solid grind spot for a new player at that AP range. A few alternatives to Gahaz Bandits is going to be Crescent Shrine as well as Desert Fogans. These are located in Titium Valley. In addition to that, you can also consider grinding at Kadri Ruins. If you want to burn some Agris points, I would recommend doing it at either Gahaz or Crescents. Those should be more than sufficient. Next up is 180 AP. At this point, you can consider grinding at Centaurs, and it is a solid grind, especially if you have a meta class for that grind spot like Awakened Musa, Succession Zerker, etc. Additionally, you can continue grinding Gahaz Bandits, or you can try out some alternative spots like Poly Forest, right here, Bloodwolf Settlement, in Drigan, or even Sulphur Mines, all the way north of Valencia. If you want to burn Agris, I would recommend doing it at Centaurs or even Gahaz. Now at 210 AP, you can consider grinding Sharakan Necropolis. Over here, the grind spot changes depending the time of day. During the day, it's a bunch of mobs running around, and you can just go murk them down. During the night, there are shrines which you summon mobs, and they're a much stronger elite mob, but it's super efficient to kill them and they're actually pretty good money. While the daytime is a bit less lucrative than the nighttime, it's still worth doing. Nighttime Sharakan, it's a great opportunity to burn Agris as it consumes very little and your return for that investment is quite high. Alternatively, you can continue grinding your previous grind spots. Next up is 240 AP plus. Now actually you can get to this first recommended spot at even sooner AP, like 220, 230 if you wanted. But those mobs do hit, so be careful. So the first spot I'd like to recommend is Kratuga, which is located here in Hazra Ancient Ruins. Then I would like to recommend Star's End. Star's End is also a decent grind spot. Now Kratuga is more consistent than Star's End. Star's End has those disto drops, those huge dopamine spikes from the big drops, so pick and choose whichever grind spot's more comfortable, but I recommend Kratuga for overall money per hour. Additionally, you can also consider grinding Thornwood Forest. I would recommend grinding here if you have a class which is well protected and has good SAs and you're good at rotating them. It could get a bit annoying, constantly getting CC'd. It's not too difficult, but it comes down to personal preference. Now, other alternatives to grinding at this AP bracket is first going to be Biragi Den and Altar Imps in Serendia Elvia. You have to be off-seasonal server to grind there. You also have Augment and Histria in the desert. Those are also solid grind spots. And lastly, Murmok Ruins is a pretty good grind spot for cash as well, and it's a nice place to grind with a few friends and get some good XP. Now finally, for the early game, we're going to close it out at 250 AP. That is full Pen Tuvala with a lot of journals completed. That's right, journals are important to complete and that is a part of your character's progression, so don't neglect them. At this AP range, I would definitely recommend grinding Star's End or continue grinding Kratuga. And another sleeper is Sikraya Underwater. What? Don't believe me? You can most certainly be grinding at Sikraya Underwater with 313, 314 DP from all your journals completed with decent crystals. Guys, trust me, I've seen plenty of Megu sitting at the Stars End pillars, so seasonal characters can do some work. So absolutely you can grind Cyclops. I even pulled 8 to 9k on my Mystic my first hour there on a Succession seasonal Mystic. Footage is on screen as proof. So absolutely, seasonal characters have so many options and grind spots now compared to what it used to be even a year ago. So enjoy. Alright, time for part 2. Now we are entering the mid game. So the first AP bracket we're going to be starting at is 260 AP. My favorite grind spots at this bracket is going to be Cyclops underwater. Then I would recommend Swamp Fogans and Swamp Nagas on Serendia Elvia. Both of these spots are solid money and pretty consistent. I especially like Swamp Nagas. I like the layout of those mobs, and they're really comfy to grind at for me. So personal preference, whichever one you like better. Otherwise, you can continue grinding at older spots like Star's End, Thornwood Forest, and Kratuga. Next up is 270 AP+. You can continue grinding the previous recommendations like Cyclops Underwater, Serendia Elvias, Swamp Fogans, and Swamp Nagas. Or if you want a new spot and you enjoy Star's End, you should consider grinding the Star's End pillars. Remember, these old spots are still relevant because you're getting more AP and your gear is still scaling your performance at these spots, so they're definitely still viable. Now, if you have a few friends and you're interested in burning Agris, you can consider trying Gyphon Uppers as well. You'll see a lot of parties recruiting in the party finder menu in game. Now at 280 AP+, I would recommend looking into Serendia Elvia's Orcs or Bloody Monastery. Both of these need a higher DP than the previous spots. I would recommend at least 340 DP. And if you have a little bit more DP, you could even consider doing Calpheon Elvia's Rudums. Now we have a lot of other alternatives here. The first is going to be Jade Starlight Forest. This is also a pretty solid grind, especially if you're going for Labresca Helmet. You'll need about 350 DP for this spot, as well as Murwalk's Labyrinth. And lastly, another spot I would recommend looking into is Abandoned Monastery. This is a 2-player grind, so if you got a buddy, definitely consider checking that out. But if you still want to grind in a comfy manner, you can still grind at Star's End, Cyclops, Swamp Nagas, and Swamp Fogans. If you want to burn Agris, you should consider using Jade Starlight Forest, or even use Rudums. At Rudums, they generally use the Agris for the elite mobs, but it's up to you. Now for the next bracket, people might consider calling this endgame, but that semantic doesn't really matter. Let's talk about 290 AP+. The spots I'd recommend you grind at are either Rudums in Calpheon Elvia, Primal Giants at Calpheon Elvia, or one of my favorite grind spots is Gyphon Razia Temple. For Giants, you would want to have around 380 DP, something close to that. You don't want to die and lose some crystals. And same thing for Gyphon Razia. Honestly, 375 plus should be good enough, but you want to be as safe as possible. Don't get hit by any of those AoEs. Don't show your back to the mobs, alright? And of course, if you want something comfy to grind at, you can continue grinding at previous spots like Serendia Elvia's Red Orcs. Alright, now we are at the end game brackets. First one is going to be at 300 AP+. Over here, a few of the spots are going to repeat, but that's okay because your gear is scaling up and so is the trash loot you're earning. The first spot I'd like to recommend again is going to be Gyphon Razia Underground. This is a great grind spot, guys. It's the best XP in the game. You can easily get to level 65 using XP buffs, and it is totally worth it. Otherwise, you can grind in Calpheon Elvia. Obviously, Hex and Trolls are going to be top contenders here now, but their efficiency really depends on the price of the Despairs on the marketplace. Unfortunately, right now at the time of recording, they're down bad, but hopefully someday they go back up, and they really do carry the weight in these spots to a certain extent. Even with them being down bad, they're still solid spots. But additionally, you have Rudums and Giants as well, which are pretty giga strong right now. And if you guys are considering grinding with a group, you should definitely take a look at Olin's. Olin's is a great spot to make money. It is quite easy to get to a point where you're pulling over 1 bill an hour with Loot Scroll and Agris, and you can also grind at Dekhia Olin's if you're going for those Devos. The value of the Devo grind spots are not in the trash loot but rather in the actual Debo drops, because those can be enhanced and sold for many billions, and the true value of these grind spots are only visible once you take into consideration enhancing for profit with those Debo accessories. And finally, for our last recommendation, this is going to be at 310 AP plus. That is going to be Dekhia Thornwood. This is a giga grind spot for silver per hour. It is amazing. Make sure you have at least 400 DP here. It does hurt. Otherwise, you can grind at the old spots like Gyfins, Rudums, Hex, Trolls, or Giants. Another grind spot you can consider is one of the newer grind spots, that is Tungrad Ruins. You need a lot of DP here and this place hurts, so as much AP as possible. I know here it recommends 320. Hell, they might be right, so yeah. Alright, that's it for this video, guys. That's the limit of my expertise on this topic. I hope you found it helpful. Please do like, comment, and subscribe if you did. And remember, check me out at twitch.tv/ImPansy. I'm going to be streaming a lot more, so I really hope to see you guys in chat. Take it easy, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.